Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over my top guys to watch at the 2023 NFL Scouting Combine. Now I got 17 players. I got in-depth details and data backing that they're probably going to have really big performances, whether it's sprints, jumps, three cones, bench press, whatever. We got track data and high school combine data and even some in-game speeds on dudes that you guys need to be keeping your eye out for. We also have 6 honorable mentions. So I got 23 total players that you guys need to keep your eye on at the Scouting Combine because they're going to light it up. And trust me, we got some athletes in this year's Combine. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into our first player. First player here, as you can see, is JALIN Hyatt, the receiver from Tennessee. Now this dude, you know he has legit speed if you watch any of his film at Tennessee. But we got the data here that's just, he's probably going to run off the charts. I mean, you can see here, all of these percentiles in this video are based off of Division I athletes at that position since 2010. So since 2010, JALIN Hyatt is 99 percentile on both the 100 and 200 meter in high school, 10.4 600, 21.14 200. He's got legit speed. That his 100 meter time is 0.27 seconds off of what TYRIQUE ran, and that was his high school data. You can only assume that these dudes have gotten faster with these college training programs and stuff. So like this is all high school data. So if he ran this in high school, you see what he's going to run in the combine. You can see his high school combine, he ran a 4.3 140, which was 4th best out of any Division I receiver since 2010 at a 2,382 qualifying player. So if he ran a 4.31, I mean, usually players get decent better. He might be running in the 4.2s, especially at 6 foot 185. We're looking at him maybe in the second round. I mean, this dude's a speedster, and he's going to light the 40 on fire in the combine. Keep an eye out for JALIN Hyatt at the combine. Speaking of the 40-yard dash in the combine, our next dude, Devon Achane. I mean, you guys know, if you watch football, running back Texas A&M, I mean, he's got legit speed. He's a college track runner. You can see his numbers on the screen. 100, 260. Now, you think these are fast college numbers. Let me just give you some background behind these numbers. His 60-meter dash of 6.63 is the 3rd fastest all-time indoor 60-meter record at Texas A&M. His 100 and 200 are 9 and 4 accordingly all-time at Texas A&M. So he's not just a fast football player. He's a fast track athlete. So you're going to get him. He got 22.2 miles per hour clocked in-game speed with his pads on. So, I mean, you throw those pads off and throw them at the combine, I mean, Chris Johnson and John Ross, he's going to be up there with those dudes in the low 4.2s. He's the one, if I had to put my money on a guy who, if someone breaks the record this year for the 40, it's Devon Achane. He's going to be the dude that, if it does happen, it will be him. He's 5'9", 185, bit smaller dude, but trust me, he moves, and that record's going to be in jeopardy when Devon Achane takes the field at the combine. Next up, we're going to take a step away from the 40-yard dash and go to some other aspects of the combine. And next up, we got Adetomiwa, Adebawore. Sorry if I mispronounced that name, but let me tell you, we should all get to work on how to pronounce this guy's name because he is a freak athlete. Showing up at the combine, he's 6'2", 280 in college. I don't know exactly what he is now, but that was his college measurements. I mean, this dude is an explosive athlete. You can see here, he threw discus and shot put in high school, and the 99 percentile for both 186-foot shot put discus is insane at 62-foot shot put. That just shows that this dude's got explosive power, and his hips generate a lot of power, and this dude's going to be like bench press and jumps. This dude's explosive. He ran a 4.7 440 in high school, so you can project. I mean, he comes into college. I don't know if he put weight on or what, but he's probably going to be faster. I mean, like 4.6s, 4.7s for a guy who probably translates as a D tackle. We saw him play D tackle more at the Senior Bowl. So if you put him at D tackle, these are all based on defensive end numbers. So I mean, you put him at D tackle, and these percentiles go even higher. A 36.1-inch vertical. I mean, this dude's pushing high 30-inch verticals at 6'2", 280, coming in maybe as a D tackle. He's one of the more explosive guys. He's going to blow up the combine. Right now, he's kind of like a day 2 talk. He kind of bumped up from the Senior Bowl, but like this raw athleticism, I mean, don't be surprised if this dude puts a performance where we're talking about him at the end of round 1 just based on his traits. I mean, he's going to look like Trayvon Walker last year, didn't have greatest film, put up a day at the combine. I mean, Adetomiwa is going to put up a day like that, and we got to start working on pronouncing this guy's name because he's going to be a freak at the combine, freak in the NFL, and I'm so excited to see what he does. Next up, we have another all-around athlete. We've seen the crazy 100, 200-yard dashes. We've seen the throws. Now we're getting to the jumps. This is Luke Musgrave, tight end from Oregon State. Now you can see his stats here. He did high school in track. He had an 11.25 100, which is the 91st percentile of tight ends. He's got some legit speed. He clocked 20.05 miles per hour at the Senior Bowl, which is one of the fastest times, especially when you start looking at like the bigger guys at 6'6", 250. Like, he was one of the faster times for the bigger guys, not if you don't include all the skill positions. That's some legit speed, 20 miles per hour. And then his jumps were insane in high school. He had a 22-foot long jump to go along with a 44 triple jump. Those are 98 and 96 percentile out of all Division I tight ends since 2010. Luke Musgrave is the most athletic tight end in this draft class. I think he's going to show again at the combine, and it's going to be a really fun conversation with like Mayer, Kincaid, and Musgrave after this. But like, if you want an athletic tight end in the NFL draft class, Luke Musgrave at the NFL Combine is going to show you why he is your guy and why he's going to put up crazy numbers in the jumps in the 40. He's going to run really good 40 time. I have a feeling probably, maybe 4.5, 4.6s even for Luke Musgrave, which is tight end. That's a really good time. So I'm excited to see what he does and see if he can bump his draft stock into that first round. I'm not putting it off the table for Luke Musgrave at the NFL Combine. We're headed to Arkansas for our next player to watch. We got Drew Sanders, linebacker from Arkansas. He's another guy like Musgrave where he's 6'5", 233, so he's a bigger dude. But, I mean, you see these track numbers at 10.91, 100 and a 22.41, 200 at 6'5", 233. I mean, you can see 97, 94 percentile for a linebacker. He ran a 4.69, 40 in high school. I mean, if he can push that into low 4.6s, 4.5 for a guy at his size, I mean, that's some freak athleticism with a 33.2 inch vert. That's also in the 76th percentile. So if he can increase that vert into like a 36, 37 inch with, I mean, usually you think these guys don't get good enough proper training in high school. So when they get to college, these programs, you expect these numbers to jump. So I expect these numbers to jump even more for him. But like, these numbers just show he has that baseline of athleticism, and he's going to put up some big numbers at the combine. He's one of the few linebackers I really have on this list. There's, I think, one or two other guys I'm keeping an eye on, but like, when it comes to linebackers, it's him, and I'm going to mention Yasir Abdullah later, but those two are your freak linebackers that we're going to be looking at this year. We are going back into the trenches for this one. We got Blake Freeland, tackle from BYU, and when we're talking about big guys, 6'8", 305 for Blake Freeland. And I mean, you see the numbers in front of you right there. He ran a 5.03 340 in high school, which is a 98th percentile for tackles. And keep in mind, this is just for tackles. This dude's 6'8", 305. He's not a normal tackle. He's a big tackle. He's a little 305 is a little lighter for 6'8", but still, that's 6'8", 305. 30.4 inch vert, 99 percentile, and then a 64 foot shot put, 188 foot javelin. So you can see he's got speed and jumps in the 40 and the vert, but he's also got that power and shot put and javelin. I think Blake Freeland's gonna have one of the best well-rounded combines for their position. He's not gonna run out there and run 4.2s, but like, you got, if in terms of just like how good they are and how athletic they are for their position, Blake Freeland's up there as one of the most athletic at their position. He's going to jump well. He's going to run well. He's going to throw well. He's a little underrated dude. He's got some things to work on in his tape and stuff, and that's why he's not really talked about as like that first-round tackle. But when we're just talking about athletic tackles, I mean, Blake Freeland's going to put up a show at the NFL Combine. All right, I know some of you guys only care about speed in the 40-yard dash of the combine. That's becoming the huge thing. So we'll get right back to the speed, and we're talking legit speed again here. We got TREY Palmer, wide receiver from Nebraska. I mean, this is another dude with just legit track numbers. You can see the 100 and 200 meter, 99 and 100 percentile for receivers. I mean, he's fast. You're in a 4.51 40 in high school. You can expect that to be a lot higher. Maybe pushing 4.3s probably TREY Palmer is what I would predict. You can see 21.15 miles per hour clocked at the Senior Bowl is one of the fastest times that they saw at the Senior Bowl. I mean, that's some legit speed. He's 6'1", 190, pretty solid size for a receiver. It'll be interesting to see what he runs for the 40 because he's kind of this speed threat. So if he can run that, like if he can get into like 4.3s for his 40, I mean, he can really raise his stock as one of those true speedsters at the combine. Because there's some dudes with legit speed we've seen with like JALIN Hyatt. I don't know if he is. I don't think he has quite JALIN Hyatt speed. But like, I mean, he's going to be up there competing as one of those speedsters, and it'll be interesting to see what he really can run, especially in the 40-yard dash at the combine. Next up, we're going to a position we haven't actually talked about yet. We're going to the cornerback position, and here we got Caillou Blue Kelee from Stanford. He's a corner. I mean, this is another dude. He's 6'1", 188. Pretty solid size for a corner, but like his size isn't why you love TYRIQUE. He had a great showing at the Senior Bowl. Kind of raised his stock a little. I think he's going to raise his stock even more at the combine. You can see 10.66, 100, 96 percentile, both the 1 and 200 meter in high school. He's got legit speed, but he's not just a speedster. He had a 24-foot long jump, which is the 99 percentile of DBs that went Division I. I mean, this dude can jump. He's explosive. You're in a 4.5 40 in high school. I could see him maybe in the 4.4s, which, I mean, you get cornerback speed is very important in cornerback because, like, especially in coverage, you know, with how fast these receivers are. If you got to do, like, this, TYRIQUE's got to cover the JALIN Hyatts and the TREY Palmers we talked about, so he's got to have speed himself. I think he probably runs in the 4.4s. I mean, you can see he's got legit speed. He's probably going to have really good jumps, too. I want to see what you can do athletically because he put on great film at the Senior Bowl. If he can put up a great athletic performance at the combine, this dude's going to keep rising up, and he could be in that day 2 discussion of corners in a really deep corner class. We're going to get some more freaky corners here, but he's a dude that could really make a name for himself here at the combine. Sticking at the cornerback position, we got Terell Smith, another corner from Minnesota this time. Now, Terell Smith is a dude, we don't have as much data. Keep in mind, I'm trying to keep dudes that I have data for that I can prove, like, hey, these are the numbers and how I think they're going to translate. So, obviously, there's some dudes that are going to be freaky there now. But Terell Smith is one of those kind of under-the-radar dudes who has some really, I mean, he ran a 10.39 100. That's 14 out of 3,589 Division I corners. I mean, so he's 14th in the 100 and 10th in the 200 meter out of all Division I corners since 2010. I mean, that's if there's legit speed, that's legit speed. He's at 6'1", 215. He's got great size for a corner. Terell Smith is one of those dudes, I don't hear a lot of conversations about him right now, but he's going to put up a crazy combine, and people are going to start talking about it. He's not going to be one of those, like, first-round guys, but he's going to be a guy that we're going to start needing to have conversations about because he's going to put up a show. I think he's going to run fast. I think he might put up some explosive numbers. Like I said, I don't have as much data on this guy, but I haven't heard a lot of talk about him either. So I think we need to get the talk started with Terell Smith and see what he can do at the combine and see if he can really make a name for himself because he has some legitimate speed, as we can see right here. Our next player that we need to keep an eye out for is Myles Murphy, defensive end from Clemson. He's a first-round talent. A lot of you guys probably know his name, but he's one of those guys that's probably he's going to be looking at that Trayvon Walker combine last year, and he's going to try and compete with that. I mean, this dude is freaky. You see, these are his high school combine numbers. They're in a 4.28 shuttle, 95th percentile. 4.65 40, 97th percentile. 34-inch vert, 91st percentile, all at 6'5", 275. Myles Murphy's going to have a freak combine, and I mean, like, you saw what happened to Trayvon Walker with that combine. I know that's what the one I keep mentioning, and that's what we all, but like, Myles Murphy's going to put up crazy numbers. I mean, his tape was so-and-so at Clemson. You saw some flashes, you saw some not, but one thing that we're not going to be able to argue about is the combine that this dude's about to put up this week. Keep your eyes out for Myles Murphy because every aspect of it, he's going to put up crazy numbers. I mean, running low 4.6s, if he can break in the 4.5s at 6'5", 275, I mean, this dude's going to be a tough evaluation, and he's going to be a top 15 pick. And this combine's going to solidify for anyone that's out there wondering, maybe he's filmed this, that. Watch this combine, and he'll be a top 15 pick. I can almost guarantee it. All right, we're going to be sticking with the Clemson line for our next player. We're going to Bryan Bresee, defensive tackle from Clemson. He's another guy like Myles Murphy, one of those like top 15, top 20 kind of prospects. You guys all probably know his name. He's another guy just like Myles Murphy. We got his high school combine numbers were insane. He had a 4.28 shuttle, 99 percentile, 4.8 40, 98 percentile, almost 32-inch vert, 97 percentile at 6'5", 305. Bresee's had some issues staying on the field with injuries and stuff throughout his career. He hasn't gotten as many snaps and looks as we would have liked he was like the number one prospect, I believe, coming out of his high school class. So we haven't seen what we thought we wanted to see. But the one thing that we will be able to see is this dude's athleticism is off the charts. Just like Myles Murphy, he's going to test off the charts at every single aspect of the combine. You can see here, he's in the top 3% of athletes in jumps, agility, and just straight speed. He improves on those numbers, and it's another dude who's, I mean, in the top 20, you can't pass on Bryan Bresee at some point when he's this big with this much athleticism as a D tackle. I mean, we got to keep our eyes out and look at what he's going to do and solidify him as a top 20 pick in this upcoming draft. Next up is Kelee Ringo, cornerback from Georgia. And I mean, listen, I can just sit back and you guys can just look at those numbers. I mean, they'll speak for themselves. I don't even have to do any explanations. One thing I will explain is that this was fast. He kind of came into the year as a number one cornerback, and then he had some issues. People would start breaking down the film, doing all this and that. And I don't care what you think about his film, but what you think about his speed is it is legit. This dude ran a 4.35 40 in 2019 in high school, 99% on both the 1 and 200 meter in high school in track. And supposedly there's rumors that he clocked 23.5 miles per hour in his training heading up to the combine. I mean, he's one of those with legit speed, especially at 6'2", 210. Very good size for a corner. He's not like a small dude that's running. He's a pretty big dude running 23.5 miles an hour. I mean, he's going to be one of those dudes that's he might go 4.2s. He's going to be out there with JALIN, Hyatt, and Devon, Achane as some of the fastest dudes. Keep an eye on him. I'm really looking forward to see what he does and see what happens in the draft, because like when you get this speed, like you're looking at TYRIQUE type speed in a corner. I don't know if NFL teams are going to make the same mistake they made with TYRIQUE when they, speed's important for a corner and you get to do the Kelee Ringo. I mean, you can see it on the field too, like in the national championship against Bama last year. He had the pick 6. I mean, this dude is athletic. He shows it off the field, in track, in training. He's the definition of speed at the corner position. Keep your eyes out for Kelee Ringo. I'm so excited to see this dude at the combine. We went from 2 Clemson dudes to 2 Georgia dudes. We're sticking with Georgia for Nolan Smith. Now, I don't think Nolan Smith is going to fully participate at the combine. He tore his bicep early on in the season. I believe it was against Oregon. It might have been the game after. He got surgery. He kind of missed the season. There's no official word if he's going to do anything, I don't believe, at the combine, but the reports are saying he probably won't. But I had to include Nolan Smith in this video because if he did participate at the combine, he was going to put up insane athletic numbers. You can see here, he ran a 10.87 100 meter as a freshman in high school, which is in the 98th percentile as a freshman. That's like, for him, I guess he's a senior now, so that's 8 years ago he ran a 10.87, so you can only expect that's better. He ran a 4.55 at 6'3", 235 in high school. 42-inch vertical. That's 4th best out of 2,260. I believe these are linebacker numbers. I'm pretty sure that's out of linebackers since high school. A 4.08 shuttle, 99%. I mean, I'm so upset that he tore his bicep. It sucks for him because he's probably going to fall in the draft a little because of it. Because like we're missing out on a legendary combine performance that Nolan Smith was going to put up. This dude's freaky. I wish we could have seen him at the combine. And he's so freaky that I had to include him in this video, even if he doesn't do anything at the combine other than interviews. So, I mean, make sure you keep Nolan Smith in. And if we go into the draft without getting any numbers, hopefully maybe he performs at a pro day later on. But even if he doesn't perform, these high school numbers are good enough. That's a good combine. That's a good NFL combine, and he's doing that stuff in high school. So I can't imagine what he's doing now. We'll move on to the next player, but keep in mind, you won't see him probably at the combine, but he's a guy to keep your eye on. Next, we're headed to Miami. We got Tyrique Stevenson, the cornerback from Miami. He's actually one of my favorite players in this draft. I was a huge fan of him ever since I saw his numbers before the year. And then he came out to the Senior Bowl, had a great showing early on in the Senior Bowl. I believe he picked up a little injury and didn't really participate in the later half of the Senior Bowl. But he came in, showed what he needed to show, got out of there. This dude's a freaky athlete at the cornerback position. He ran a 10.88 100 meter, got legit 100 speed. He ran a 4.49 as a freshman in high school for the 40, so you can expect it to be low 4.4s, maybe even 4.3s for Tyrique Stevenson. He had a 39.6-inch vertical. Yet again, freshman data. He's jumping 40 inches. I mean, this dude's probably going to jump. This dude's going to jump 40 inches, maybe run in the 4.3s, probably 4.4, maybe 4.3s. But I mean, you go 4.3s with a 40-inch vert as a cornerback. I mean, Tyrique Stevenson's jumping into that first-round conversation. He puts up a good combine, and we're definitely going to see him drafted on day one in the NFL draft. He got 6 foot 214, good size for a corner. He's one of my favorite dudes I love to see. You're going to see that athleticism on show at the combine. Heading toward the back end of this video of players to watch, we're going to get back into outside linebacker / DN. He's an edge rusher, but Yasir Abdullah from Louisville. This is another dude with legit speed. He's going to be an edge rusher. And, I mean, you can see he ran 10.75 100 meter, 99 percentile. He ran just under 22 seconds at the 298 percentile. And he ran a 4.5 440 in high school, which is 4 out of 1184 linebackers. These are linebackers, keep in mind, not DN numbers. So you bump it up to DN, and these numbers get even better. He had a 34.2 inch vertical and a 4.31 shuttle to go along with that 40 time in high school. And, I mean, I think there's reports that his 40 might be a little slower because I believe he's put on some weight since getting to college. He's a fifth-year guy, so he's been in college for 5 years. Try to put on weight and kind of move to that more traditional edge rusher role. He's at 6'1", 242 right now, so he might not run as fast as 5.45. I think there's reports that he's going to run in the mid 4.6s, but even still, I mean, this dude, we can see from his high school, he's that baseline of athleticism. He might gain a little weight and the numbers go a little, but the athleticism is still going to be there for a guy like this, an edge rusher, another freaky kind of athlete guy coming out of Louisville. He's another guy, watch him in the jumps, the agility, and the 40. He's not just like a one-trick pony where he's either fast or explosive. He's got everything. A little bit undersized for a defensive end. But that's kind of that outside linebacker role. It'll be interesting to see what his role kind of is in the NFL. But his athleticism is going to show up at the combine no matter what you classify him as that outside linebacker or D end. All right, the last full kind of profile, I got some honorable mentions after this, but our last full profile we got is Zach Harrison, defensive end for Ohio State. I knew this dude was like big and like kind of athletic, but when I went to this dude's profile and started looking at all of his data, I mean, I don't know what to say about these numbers. He ran, keep in mind, these are all high school numbers. He ran a 4.47 40, 4 out of 1184 defensive ends, 10.7 800, 9 out of 701, 21.55, 1 out of 609 defensive ends in Division I. He had a 37.8 inch vertical in the 99 percentile. All of this at 6'6", 242. I mean, this dude, we talk about, he's kind of like that guy that last year we talked about him maybe coming out and being like one of those top defensive ends. He ended up coming back to Ohio State for this year. We talked about him before the season, and he's coming in the NFL Combine this time at 6'6", 242. He's a big dude, and he's going to put up some crazy numbers in the running, in the jumping. I did not know this dude was this fast until I really started looking, and trust me, I don't know if he's going to put up the crazy numbers like this. I haven't heard his name really around a lot. It's like when you hear guys who are going to put up crazy numbers, a lot of people think of like Bryan, Bresee, Myles Murphy, Nolan Smith. Those are like the hot names. You don't really hear Zach Harrison in that conversation. Maybe even Kelee, Ringo, JALIN, Hyatt, Devon, Achane, those kind of guys. I don't hear Zach Harrison's name a lot, but I think we're going to be hearing his name a lot come the end of the week when the Combine's in full roll and this dude's putting up crazy numbers event after event after event after event. I'm excited to see what he does, and he's a guy that you guys really need to keep your eyes on because I did not know he had this athleticism. All right, last to end this video, we got some honorable mention. Now, these aren't like dudes that I'm like, they're not going to have as good performances. There's no rankings to these videos. These are just guys that maybe I saw one or two things that stood out. They didn't have like the full profile, but some dudes I wanted to mention nonetheless. Darius Rush is the first one. He's a cornerback from South Carolina. He clocked in at 21.65 miles an hour at the Senior Bowl. Another one of the fastest dudes that they clocked at the Senior Bowl. He also had a 47-foot triple jump, which is in the 99 percentile for corners in high school. He's another dude that's jumped well, ran well. He's really skyrocketing up boards right now. Keep an eye on Darius Rush. We also have TREY Tucker, the receiver from Cincinnati. He ran a 6'8", 60 meter in high school, which is in the 97 percentile. Yeah, again, 60 meters, another one that pretty good translation for the 40-yard dash. As it's not like 100, where it's as long. It's a little closer, so that's another good. TREY Tucker's going to put the burners on. Both the Cincy receivers are going to, but TREY Tucker especially, watch out. BJ Ojulari, another one, edge rusher from LSU. He had a 42.6 inch vertical jump in high school, which is 1 out of 1,329 qualifying defensive ends. I mean, that's insane. A 42.6 inch vertical on BJ Ojulari, he's got some size. So he's another guy. Keep an eye on him for the jumps. And then Christian Gonzalez is another dude where he doesn't have necessarily the fastest times, but keep in mind that he's 6'2", 201, and he has some really fast times. He ran 10.72, 100 in high school. Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon, the corner. He's another guy that I'm really excited for. He's my corner 2. He's right up there with Devon Witherspoon. I kind of see them eye and eye at the top. But I mean, Christian Gonzalez has the athleticism. You can see he's fast. He's another guy to keep your eye on. Tyrus Wheat is another dude that I want to keep my eye on. Tyrus Wheat, the linebacker, outside linebacker for Mississippi State. He ran a 4.40 in high school, which is in the 95th percentile, and he's 6'2", 260. He's another dude where I don't have a lot of data on him to really say he's going to really perform. But I mean, if that 4.640 is anything to kind of base it off of, Tyrus Wheat is another guy who could put up some really good numbers. And then the last guy who I don't have as good numbers on, but they were talking about especially Eric Galko in the Shrine Bowl. These guys were talking a lot about this dude's speed. Jacob Copeland, the receiver from Maryland. Dude ran a 4.40 in high school along with a 37.4 inch vert. Another dude with legit speed that kind of showed up at the Shrine Bowl as one of the fastest guys there. So another guy, again, not as much data, but keep an eye on Jacob Copeland. He could be one of those low 4.3 guys that we were talking about coming into the combine. That's going to be it, though, for the video. Make sure you guys keep an eye on these guys. Now, keep in mind there's some dudes I don't have in here, like Jalen Carter. I think he's going to have a great combine. These are guys that I had data, whether it's track, in-game speed, or some kind of high school 40 where I can say, hey, guys, here's the data. This is why I think these guys are going to do. So it's not really, my opinion. I'm showing you why. So there's other dudes that maybe don't have that data that could perform just as well. So keep in mind, this isn't a rankings or a list. These are just some guys I'm like, hey, the data suggests this dude's going to have a really good performance. So you guys need to keep your eye out, and then we can compare after, see what these dudes put up, and talk from there about where we go. But that's going to be it for this week. Make sure you guys keep tuned. We're going out with the weekly videos. I put out a mock draft, my first mock last week. I'm excited to get into the combine, pro days, all this stuff coming up. Draft season getting into roll. I'll see you guys in the next week. Thank you guys so much for watching.